About venous changes and cholesterol from Barnai Roberto. There are many types of venous changes. They can occur on the inner surface of the vein or inside in the vein wall. We will now adopt special biological programs that cause changes inside in vein walls. The vein wall is made up of connective tissue, which is covered by a very thin smooth layer of smooth muscle. The change in the vein wall is a decrease in self-esteem caused by an obstacle. I feel restrained. The vein wall reacts to this conflict because its biological task is to remove obstacles in the blood circulation after the organism. Physical ability to circulate. This is a vein function. If someone experiences a reduction in self-esteem, disappointment, despair, his sense of dignity will collapse. Or there will be a decrease in sense of dignity. I'm not good because something stops me. It is possible for the person to observe changes in the veins of the veins. When during an active conflict period the vein wall begins to undergo atrophy and become thinner. At the same time smooth muscle tissue gets thicker. These reactions are programmed uniquely precisely because to be induced by long-lasting recurrent lowering of self-esteem atrophy did not induce perforation of the vein wall. It could even be deadly. Consequently, Mother Nature programmed these reactions to occur at one time. When the vein wall disappears, the layer of smooth muscle covering it becomes thicker. This means that we are doubly protected against venous wall perforations. In the past, the conception of constriction of the vein was based on the fact that cholesterol is deposited on the vein wall, causing the light to narrow and close. 30. This belief is wrong. This phenomenon always appears in the time of getting out of the disease, when the wall was regenerating. Imagine a vein wall where blood flows continuously. How would it properly regenerate if it was not coated with insulation? Cholesterol forms this insulating layer. Its biological function as an oily substance is to separate the affected veins from the veins in the veins of blood. In this way, blood flow does not inhibit the healing process. If someone suffers from a recurrent loss of self-esteem by being stopped, then the vein wall is subjected to the following mechanism. Active period, period of recovery, active period, period getting out of the disease, active period, the period of getting out of the disease, and the longer it takes. Over time the vein wall becomes thicker. On this basis it was thought that cholesterol induced vein narrowing. Meanwhile the truth lies somewhere else. So often the recurrent, delicate decline of self-esteem. Bold walls are veins. So we talk about the same ailment but looking at it from a wider perspective. Such bold altered veins. During an epileptic crisis, when the crisis of self-esteem comes down by being held back, approximately in the middle of the period of leaving the disease. In addition, the symptoms of crisis are also noticeable in the smooth muscle covering vein walls. Specifically, smooth muscle tissue fibrillates. We feel it as a strange feeling in the legs, arms or bends of the limbs. It's like something scraping us from inside, as if some worm was walking in our interior. This scraping is nothing but fibrillation of vein walls. This means that there is a repair process in the vein wall. If someone has been in conflict for a long time, there was a great accumulation of conflicts. In such a person there is a very painful vein of the veins. On the one hand, the vein wall is subject to a repair process. On the other hand, it tapers smooth muscle tissue, which can actually be painful. Such painful vein skin is relatively rare, usually in % of cases. These are just some signs to let you know that something is going on with the veins. So they are not painful or dangerous. New medicine, by systematizing, making available and explaining these processes, she shed light on their earlier erroneous judgment, imaginations and facts that seemed to be scientific. She showed black on white that the vein narrowing was not caused by cholesterol, but recurrent decreases in self-esteem by being held back. Let's also say a few words about cholesterol, because it is one of the nicest, recognize one of the favorite scarecrows that will touch people. The man comes to the medical clinic and from the doorstep drops the leaflet. This is good cholesterol and it is bad cholesterol. Good cholesterol is such bad cholesterol and worms. People are so distraught. There is no such thing as good and bad cholesterol. Cholesterol is produced by our liver and used for many purposes. With regard to venous changes, there are two types of cholesterol, so-called HDL cholesterol and LDL cholesterol. HDL cholesterol is thicker and LDL cholesterol is less common. In this way you can translate these English abbreviations. In the course of venous changes, HDL cholesterol levels rise during the active conflict period, while LDL cholesterol levels rise during the time of getting out of the disease. So what do we want to call good or bad cholesterol? This is nonsense. During active HDL levels and during convalescence LDL levels increase. So if someone tells me that he has high LDL cholesterol, I used to congratulate him for finally resolving the problem of falling in self-esteem. Just keep going, stay healthy and do not go back to that.